I'm a doctor and I'm an investor. And if you're anything like I was 7 years ago, you're still making the same old money mistakes everybody does. But after 7 years of investing, and trust me, making plenty of mistakes, I've realized it's almost never about how much you earn. So in this video, I'm sharing 5 habits that actually changed how I handle money, plus an actual algorithm I use before I buy anything. And look, none of this is financial advice. You must do however you see fit with your money or seek professional advice regarding your finances. I'm just a doctor who spent way too long figuring this out the hard way and presenting what worked for me. The first bad money habit is mistaking activity for progress. If I gave you a shovel and told you to dig for gold, you'd probably start digging. But what if you spent 10 years digging in the wrong hole? That's what people do financially. Work hard on the wrong things. For example, you can spend an hour looking for a voucher code versus spending an hour learning about finance. Warren Buffett famously said that the difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything. So the idea here is to not do more, but do what matters. I'm an internal medicine doctor and the cases I have are extremely complex. But instead of stressing on things I cannot control, I found that what matters for me was studying a lot. By starting to learn things, brick by brick, I built my foundation. And that foundation lets me not stress over these things anymore. And that brings me to a thing that I learned from a business guru and from a well-known entrepreneurship book. And this brings me to the second bad habit: cheap systems and expensive dreams. The book I was talking about earlier is The E-Myth Revisited by Michael E. Gerber. And in this book, he frames the next habit we are going to talk about as a core reason small businesses fail. They don't build systems. Let's say that your ambition is to get a lot of material things, right? Maybe you want to change your car, maybe you want to buy a new house. Okay, so you think that learning about ETFs will help you invest better and get the money to buy these things. Let's say you have a bad week at work and each day when you come home tired, you don't learn about ETFs. So instead, you want to be building systems around this habit that can help you achieve your ambition under extreme pressure. So in this example, you could be letting AI know that you want to have a daily tidbit of information about ETFs. This is the system you are creating. You are automating the feed of information about ETFs. And since we were talking about education, you can really go beyond the generic investing advice on YouTube and go really deep and specific in ways of increasing your returns specific for the country you live in. You can check out more details in this video that popped up on the screen now. Here is another example from the real world with a small business that grows flowers. If you have only a few flowers to water, you could manage that just fine. The problem is that he doesn't have a good system for it. And if the demand for the flowers increases and he now suddenly has to water 1,000 flowers, he won't be able to meet the demand. This is why building systems is so important. The third bad habit is waiting for motivation before taking action. If you were the businessman we already talked about and you would wait for motivation to water the plants would be dead very fast. So really, waiting for motivation is not the optimal strategy. My question for you is, how often do you actually feel happy? How often do you actually laugh? How often do you feel spiritual? If you rely on motivation alone, you will only work on the days that already feel good. Not ideal for a business, nor investing. As a personal tip, taking a lot of action massively reduced my stress. It really clears up my bandwidth and my mind. I'm really zen after I take a lot of action. Even if you do a few things here and there, this massively increases your winner effect. This tells your brain that you are a winner, a champion, a guy or a girl that gets things done, your brain likes winning. This is why you get even more motivation after doing a few things. But be careful about the motivation behind your goals, because you might fall into the trap of working hard to impress people that don't matter. So let's say that you got a big raise at work and have a little bit of income to spare. And by accident you heard about how cool Rolexes are. Most people buying entry-level luxury watches care about the status these watches bring them. They don't actually appreciate in value, because everybody is buying them because they are the cheapest, even if they are not cheap at all, so you have a lot of supply in the market. If you are buying for fashion, that's a completely different story. There are probably cheaper alternatives out there that might look even better. There is also the third case in which you actually want to make an investment in luxury watches, but that's when you probably want to be investing more into the most rare or unique pieces. You need to be aware and conscious about why you are buying things. Ask yourself if splurging on a certain item will change your life, even if it's cars, even if it's clothes, even if it's jewelry. But this is not only the case when we are talking about big and pricey purchases. If we want to be successful financially, the last bad habit we have to get rid of is believing small purchases don't matter. I bet everybody heard about the Starbucks coffee retirement scheme, where you don't buy lattes and you will suddenly get rich because of it. What I want to say is that there is a little bit of truth behind that saying. If you want to check out how to get 15% of the money you need for retirement only from your coffee, I go over it in this video right here. So let me show you the algorithm I go through each time I want to buy something new. First of all, I just wait for 7 days to see if I still wanted that thing. After it, I ask myself, do I still want it? If the answer is no, I just let it go. But if the answer is yes, then I ask myself, is this just the halo effect speaking? Basically, is this just the marketing of that brand that makes me want to buy this thing? If the answer is no, so if the item I want to buy has real use and it's not just marketing, I go ahead and buy it. But if not, I ask myself the second question. Can I buy it cheaper from somewhere else, or maybe with voucher codes? Or is it safe to buy it from a second-hand marketplace? If the answer is yes, I go ahead and buy it from there. Even if small purchases matter in the long run, don't be rigid about them, because you won't be able to stick to a budget. You can see how much I put aside for my hobbies in the next video, where I talk about the 25, 5, 50 to 20 rule.